Well, with me right now is Jose Vergara from the El Toro Water District, and today we are going to talk about phase 2 of the recycled water expansion that's happening in this community. Nice to see you, sir.
Thank you, Ken. It's a pleasure being here.
Yeah, always great to have you here. And as we know, there was phase 1 to this a while back, which was, I think, a bigger phase. Am I right?
Yes, we completed a couple of years ago. We completed phase 1, which included the treatment plant and a large extension of pipelines. The price of that was about $37 million. Some of the residents came to us and said, well, we want recycled water too. And we tried to look if it was feasible. And we did find out that we could extend the project a little bit more by Gate 9. So right now we're doing what we call the expansion. So in the map that we're showing in purple in this next slide, you can see the phase 1 already, and in purple you can see the first one, and then you can see in the other two colors in yellow and green are what we call now the second phase.
Yeah.
These are smaller in reality, but it's going to be about 28,000 feet of pipeline, and we're going to be building 65 recycled water meters.
Wow.
Now, in the next slide, I'll show you that the price of this small project is $8 million. One of the things that we are really concerned with is the traffic.
Right.
We don't want to disturb the life of the residents, and we're doing the same process that we did for the construction of the other project. We're using the internet, we're using phone calls, we're using flyers, and we're keeping them ahead.
Yeah.
And a couple of years ago, we were actually praised by the residents, and that's what we want. We don't want to intrude in their life. In the next slide, we're going to tell you one of the steps that we have to do first. One of the things that we do is what they call potholing.
Okay.
When we're ready to build the project, we ask the agencies, can you tell us, some of these utilities like gas company, energy, we want them to tell us where is your pipeline buried or located. And they come and mark it for us, you can see. But we don't believe them too much, so we do our own little holes to make sure the depth is there and located. Sometimes we find a little bit difference, but that's to avoid any major accidents. So in the next slide, I can tell you that we started already the construction. In August, we started the west side, and in November, we started the east side. You probably have seen these excavators already in the middle, and it is hard work because it has to go a little bit deeper. You can see in the next slide how deep some of the pipeline goes. It is really a way to go in the next slide.
Okay, we'll bring up the next slide, and tell us why this has to go deeper. Is that because the gas lines and all, some go above it?
You know, most of these has to have certain pressure, but also the design include hydraulics. The pressure has to be enough, and also to save some of or protect from the water and the sewer. And also there are some regulations, there are minimum depth that you have to have the water. So all of this, what we have to do also at the bottom is the protection, the base, and sometimes in some cities, we cannot put the same material. In this case, you can see it's a very good compaction material. You can put it back, but in some other places, if the soil is not perfect, we have to bring new material. So it is a little, has a little bit to do cost. That increases the cost. Now, we are so far about 26% completed on the west side, and about 15%, about 1,000 feet on the east side. So we're moving along. The experience with this project or the previous project allow us to be able to do that. Now, what we are going to be doing in the next slide, we show how do we backfill.
Okay.
And this is what I was talking about. But at the end of the project, we're going to have about 260 acre feet per year of recycled water delivered. If you remember, the previous project was about 1,200.
Yeah.
So this is 20%, 25% of that. And that's about 85 million
that's nice,
gallons per year. So, and this is one of the things, about 25 years ago, I was in a conference with the Water Reuse Foundation. This is a research group organization that finds ways to research and things to help recycle water. One of the things that we found was that people didn't want to do anything with recycled water. And we invested in a study at that time, $25,000, to study why people didn't want to deal with recycled water.
Right.
Look, 25 years later, people come to our office and say, we want recycled water.
Yeah.
So there has been a complete change in the mentality of the people. So we expect to have this project completed by summer of this year. And after that, we're going to be doing the retrofit, the on-site retrofit, which is changing the meters from potable water to recycled water, which we expect to have done by Christmas also. So most people already, the residents already know how to contact, but anyway, you can contact in those phones that we provided in the next slide. You can contact us, and Dennis, our engineer, is really on top of this. He's very liked in the community, and he's an excellent engineer. So we have lots of people calling, and the answers are there all the time.
So the savings of this in the long run is really tremendous, right? And this is water that's used for irrigation primarily?
Yes. The important thing with the recycled water is that we avoid having to import extra water.
Right.
As you can see, some of this year have been, there has been lots of rain. A couple of years ago, there was plenty of rain. But the 7 or 8 years before, there was no rain.
Yeah.
So if we learn to manage that, which is what we're doing, then we don't need that much water. So we're saving potable water by reusing it, and we're doing a big service to the environment.
Yeah, very good. And this is the last for this community, am I right? This is the second phase, or will there be a third one?
I would say knock on wood, but there is always a possibility that we can do more.
Okay.
Now, some of the residents of the other cities that we serve, Mission Viejo and Lake Forest, are interested. And we're studying. The only concern that we have to this point is cost.
Yeah.
Whenever this is feasible, cost-wise, we will do.
Okay.
And but we're open. We're open, and we are always considering all the possibilities.
And as far as looking at other cities, this is water it's used by the municipalities or the associations, and not by the resident. When I'm talking about living in another community, Mission Viejo, Lake Forest, with single-family homes, that recycled water isn't coming back to their home for their irrigation system.
No.
Not at least today.
It hasn't been approved yet.
Yeah.
That, I would like to have recycled water for irrigation in my home.
Yeah.
But it's not been approved yet.
Okay.
The reason, has to go through a long process from health services and Department of Health. So, they haven't approved that, at least in this kind of organization like homeowner associations, they are being managed.
Yeah.
But in a home where the homeowner will eventually change things around, they don't want to have that problem. So, but in the future, I'm sure we're going to be having lots of recycled water in the future. I don't know if I see that.
Yeah, that's that'll be neat to see. But yeah, you bring up a good point, because in your home, with the sprinklers going off, if it's recycled water, or people drink from the hose or whatever like they used to. I don't think they do that much anymore. But you and I probably did that a lot as a kid.
Oh, yeah.
But it's a whole different thing. So
it is human behavior, but if necessity is the mother of all inventions, so it's most likely that people will be educated, and eventually we can do that.
Yeah. All right. Very good. Always good to have you on, sir.
Thank you, Ken.
And we'll see you again soon. And this is great to see all this updated information, and it's moving on. Oh, quick question. When do you think this project will be completed?
By June, we're going to have the construction of the project, but then we're going to do the replacement of the meter or the individual connections. Okay. That will take all the way to December.
Okay. Very good. Nice to see you, sir.
Okay, Ken.
You take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Now,